So for our documentary, we decided to follow around Delia, Trevor, and Amelia's group for their journey during their documentary. We followed them to the Contemporary Art Museum, the Graffiti Wall, and throughout their editing process. After they completed their documentary, we sat them down for an interview. Please explain your documentary for us.
To be honest, I still really don't know what we're doing.
We're making a documentary about graffiti, and our big research question was, is graffiti art? And so far, I think we've developed to the point that yes, it is art.
Well, it can be art, but it can also be meaningless, so.
I don't know about that one.
I know about that one.
I don't know about that one. Yeah, and we've interviewed some folks. One folk. And we
A well-known St. Louis artist.
Yeah, and we traveled around St. Louis and got some video of art and graffiti.
How did you guys choose this topic?
Well, originally we had like a bunch of different topics that we thought about doing, but this wasn't really, or at least for me, I wasn't really sold on the idea, because I was like, graffiti, what come up with that would have been better.
We stifled through a bunch of different ideas, and none of them were that interesting. Or we really wanted to think about who we could interview. And I had a friend who does art, and he's a graffiti artist, and so we got to interview him, and it was kind of just based off of that interview. And so a lot of our movie made up from that specific interview.
Yeah, and I think we kind of wanted to do something centered around St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really lucky that the Basquiat gallery was also going to be open during the time that we were filming. So we were kind of let's do that then.
What was the most interesting part of this documentary experience?
Climbing the silo.
I think the interview with Pete Walliger was really insightful. He had a lot to say, not only about art in general, but about St. Louis art, which was really cool.
And he didn't talk about just art too. He talked about how it can influence social things, or how social things can influence graffiti or street art.
Yeah, he did a good job explaining the difference between the two. Also, he was just a really nice guy, so we got to go to his studio and see a lot of his work and experience what it was to really interview someone, which was really cool.
Please explain what happened for us at the Graffiti Wall.
So basically, we were filming at the Graffiti Wall, and there was this abandoned silo, and I thought, hey, that'd be kind of cool if I climbed the silo and showed just how big the graffiti wall was. But when I started to climb up there, I was like, oh, this is actually a lot higher than I thought it was. So I started to second guess myself, and Delia was originally gonna climb up with me, but as soon as I said, nope, I don't really vibe with this, Delia said, okay, I'm going down now. So I was kind of stuck up by myself, and the surface I was standing on wasn't really that stable, so I was kind of nervous the whole time. So I just got the shot, got down. Delia said, yeah, we're probably not going to use that. I said, the fruits of my labor will not be in our film, so unfortunately you guys won't see that shot.
How do you think the editing process is going this far?
Nice. So far it's just been kind of normal editing, but cutting up the interviews is probably going to be kind of difficult because they are so big, and I kind of have to pick. Well, I have to talk to them first, but we'll have to pick what questions we want and what sort of responses we want. And then I'll have to match up the sound with the thing, unless we decide to use the camera sound, but I don't think that'd be a good decision. But yeah, and then after that, it'll just be like putting shots of the graffiti wall or the places that we got over his voice. Speaking.
What have you learned from this process? And if you could, what would you change it if you did it again?
And find more people to interview and more
Yeah.
things to shoot. I mean, we're kind of like on a time cramp. Like it's like have a 7-minute long interview or movie, so it's not like we could get that much.
Yeah, and I feel like probably just it's like you could always like plan more, sort of, and like coordinate better,
Totally.
or like plan exactly what we want to get. You know, because sometimes we'd be like, oh, I don't really know what we want to like shoot here. And we just have to like we'd figure it out. You know, like.
As you can see, the documentary process is very challenging, but can be also very rewarding and fun.
My pants.
This is our footage. This is all of it.
We're just gonna turn in 5 minutes of this straight with no interviews.